Oh, we begin to talk about homework twos starting, and today we just talk about some how to set up quickly a sequence table, an integrated table called part tables, as we mentioned in the classes um, for this homework too. Um, this is not the entire solution. It's just a hint to give you some direction how to approach to this homework. We know we have two different entity coming from two different sources and passing through the system. So at least we will have to have two processing plan. In order to adding uh, part table, let's take a look. How do we do this? Um, So, for example, we go to the data section, and these are the processing time you have from the previous homework. And we're going to start creating a new table. And this new table we'll call it a sequence for Model A screen. Sorry, we should create a sequence table. Delete this table for now. Adding a table called sequence table, and call this table sequence model A screen, for example. And we have sequences coming up. So the sequences for this will be coming up to the incoming inspection and going to assembly 2, for example. Go to assembly 1, then goes to post inspection, post assembly inspection, then go to packing, then go to the shipping. This is what we have for then. Uh, this is the sequence. Also, we would like to add a extraction session called processing time. Make sure we specify the processing time is based on time and minutes. Okay. And how to fill this in, we talk about in a little bit. And then we do the same thing for Model B screen. So Model B screen, for example, okay, doing the same thing, going to incoming inspection first, goes to assembly 1, then assembly 2, then post inspection, then packing. Then goes to the output for shipping B. So these are very simple two expression table, and then adding a processing time using expression property and called make sure we have the unit properly defined it. Okay. So this is what we basically have. Now we can go in to see, for example, in the incoming inspection station, the processing time based on this table, we can just copy this, over to that. And assembly 2, assembly 1, we could just simply go over for now. I'll show you how to streamline this later on, since we have much more specific. For example, the assembly 2 for model 1, and actually we can get it from assembly 2, model 1. This is what we have. We can directly use this. For example, for assembly 1 for model 1, so assembly 1 for model 1, we can copy that as well. Instead of using that expression. Post-inspection, post-assembly inspection. We can directly copy these as well. Model 1. And packing time. Of course, for the shipping, we don't have any processing. So we can either use the table array, or you directly using this number, because we know that which process, which inspection time they are, or which assembly time exactly for the model type and the screen or the electronic. So similar, we can do this the same thing for model 2. This is about the same. We can copy it over. Don't have to be exactly this. You can be more specific, since we know that this is model B and this is screen. So here, assembly 1, model B, assembly 2, model B, post-inspection, model B, and packing for model B. Really simple. Okay, so now these two tables are set, and therefore their sequences. One way to do this is, again, then you can specify the initial sequences for that and directly choose model A or model B. And those are, since you have two separate models, the trouble is now we have actually separate them and make a duplication, one designated to screen, one designated to electronic. So we'll talk about those later on. But for now, we want them all to follow the same path, okay? But how are we going to deal with so-called sequencing and processing time? We're no longer using this anymore. How we forward the parts using a sequence table. So what we do, I would suggest, is not the only way to do it. I'm going to create a new table called part table. Okay, create this part table. I'm going to adding a property called integer, and same thing, we do it as ID. So it's model A and model B. So we have two rows for ID, 1 or 2. Then we're adding a sequence table property. Okay. The sequence table referring to model A and model B respectively. We talk about this in 5.1 and 5.3, so you should probably be familiar with this. If you not, go back to the CMIL workbook textbook and look at for the 5.1 to 5.4, and you should understand what we're dealing with. Okay. And also I'm going to do a processing time as well. So instead we'll call it processing time, we'll call it P time for this. All right. And this is basically the sequence model. A screen dot processing time. So this is referring to the processing time column. Look at SEQ model B screen dot processing time. I define it. Probably have some mis sequence model B screen processing time. Did I set it like that? Second. Something. So we put in the processing time for that. Again, we need to make sure this is based on time and based on minutes. Okay, so we have screen A, model A screen, processing time, model B screen, processing time, so on and so forth. So now we need to assign the, for example, assigning the to the proper rows. And over here, the source is exactly the same as we had it before. Table row references, we've done this before. Okay, we've done this before. Table row. Before, we're going to using this part table, which row it is. So in the part table, we have row 1 and 2. In the example from the lecture, we have using a mixed column, using a random row. But here we don't really need to, because we know from this source is definitely the first row. And same thing for this one. We're going to referring to the process part table again, which is exactly the second row. Okay, so we can direct them to the proper rows of these part table like we indicated in the process. Over here now is more tricky. We want to forward them through the system. Remember, what we had used to have is all the output are either continuous or based on wavelength. So we need to have them properly forward using by sequence at the output node. So I want you to pay attention here. The output node is for this one, I would choose for these two to be properly forwarded by sequence. Okay, and these two, the combiner, I'm using them to forward by sequence. And after the assembly, we want them to forward by sequence instead of the link weight. Okay. This part also based on sequence, and that part based on sequence. And instead of link weight. All right. All right, then also just testing, see if it works. I'm going to change the stopping time is a little bit closer. Just let it to run it for 1 month from September 1st to October 1st. We can see the result a little bit faster. We can see how this works. You see the parts are still following through the system quite smoothly as exactly like before. And we're running for 1 month, and we'll see this is about the correct versions. It's about 15 and 1700 for both process. And then this is what we have so far. This is a very easy way. The only trick is after you defining the sequence table, these two sequence table, and putting into an integrated table, and then go into the source, choose the proper table reference, because right now we know which rows and the integrated part table we are referring to now. And most importantly, we say is, since these are the one we forwarded to the inspection, and these are the one we forwarded to assembly 1 or assembly 2, so these know we need to forward them by sequence. Yeah, forward them by sequence. And also here, a little bit change is what we have. We can delete this. We no longer need this one for now. I'm going to make some string line changes. Change this guy to a shipping, only shipping I have. The only shipping I have. And then here, I'm just going to change this to, for example, if production equals to production, I'm going to change this formula a little bit. So it's called entity is model A, for example. If it's model A, it will return 1 or add it to the TV production, and then add another one called TVB. Oh, sorry, TVB production. TVB produced equals to TVB produced plus entity is model B. By using this, I will still be able to accumulate proper state variable using the model type. So if it is model A, it will accumulate in the TVA produced. If it's model B, it will accumulate in model B produced. So here we have, we need to slightly change to the model B. So this will be shipping directly. Okay, and model A will be shipping directly. So this is a slightly changed. Now we need only one shipping department and to see both of the situation. Okay, we can still put on states label right here. I'm not sure if we have it right. Oh yes, we have it right. Just need to move it forward a little bit. You can see model how many model A done, how many model B done, and throughout this 1 month period. Okay, so it's exactly the same what we had before. It's about 17 and 15 and 17 of them. So this is to pretty much conclude what we have for the initially. And the next step, what we need to do is we need to add 2 more server. Okay, one here somewhere, one called the installation, one called special. Special workstation, and then we're going to link from after the inspection, incoming inspection, link to each one of those based on their either their screen or model, or screen or electronic. So we need to add 2 more sequences, and how we incorporate 2 more sequence while we generating duplicate parts right here, and we need to assign them to the proper sequence, and then after that they can get a different incoming inspection time and forward to either special or inspection according to the proper sequences. So this part is the part we want to explore, have you to do. This is addition. I think we get you some hint on the beginning and how to get started with this project. And okay, I'm going to conclude it.